everyone, welcome to the next video in this series from Daydreams by Hanna Karlzon. Karlzon, I don't know. We have this pair of mushrooms to do today, or toadstools. Now let's come in a little closer so we can see what we're doing. Now we have two and they don't look the same to me, but I'm not sure whether to do them in the same colours or different colours. Sorry, I got a bit confused then by my zoom. Now these look quite flat in the sense the little blips on them look flat, especially on this one because they don't overlap the edge. So that's what's caught my eye to start with. We've got a different sort of skirt bit here. This one hasn't got one obviously, and this, yeah, they don't look the same. I'm just going to do the big one first and see where it leads us. What colour? I'm thinking more of an earthy bronzy type colour maybe. That's what I'm thinking. That's what's sort of coming to mind. Whoops. So I'm going to start with my walnut brown. We use that I think we use that on all of them so far. And I'm going to just do a little bit on the edge. I don't really know what I'm thinking. I'm just sort of putting some colour down and seeing what happens. It's is it a good policy? Who knows? We'll find out, won't we? It's quite interesting, people saying, you know, I don't know where to start. I know how I want a page to look. I think that's where I have an advantage over many people, is that I don't know how I want a page to look. I can't, unless I've seen an image of a page that I'm copying, and then I can know what I want to do. I don't know how I want it to look because I can't sort of visualise it in my head. And I think, yes, as I say, I think that's an advantage. Whoops. We're going for the burnt sienna next. This sort of more of an orangey tone of brown. I'm going over what I've done already. So it means that I can't think, well, I want it to, I don't know, however it might look. I can't do that. So I just have to start putting colour down and see what I like and dislike. I mean, I have got some sort of idea of what colours might work together and that sort of thing, but I can't just imagine what it's going to look like when it's done. So I think it, you know, it's useful, and it means I have to just dive in and go for it and see where it takes me. And I think there's a certain amount of confidence that you need to do that, and I think that is partly from practice. You know, I've made mistakes. Also, it has to come from a place of forgiveness, in the sense that it sounds a bit over the top, but the word is a little bit, this is brown ochre, it sounds a little bit over the top for what I'm trying to say. But I think that if you make a mistake, you have to not be judgy on yourself. You know, don't give yourself a hard time. Don't, you know, that's where I mean the sort of forgiveness thing. You know, just think, well, it was, I learned something there. You know, it didn't go how I'd planned, and sometimes when that's happened, you know, I've learned a lot about how to, maybe this colour isn't what I want it to be. I want it to be a bit more orangey. I shall do something in a minute. How to, you know, I might have learned how to do something that isn't what I intended, but it still looked good, if you know what I mean. Or I might have learned how to correct something that went a bit wrong, you know. So there are lots of things you can learn, or just not what not to do again. So if you see every picture as a new learning experience, then it makes it easier. This is burnt ochre, to be a bit more calm and forgiving if it doesn't quite work out. I'm going over everything because this is a little bit of a slightly orangey tone, and that's what I want to get really in this sort of more, I was trying to go for a sort of bronziness, and I think that's going. I'm sort of really quite burnishing a lot here because I'm quite liking that colour. I do need to sharpen this though. Let's grab that sharpener. So I think there is that element to it where we need to just, and I know it's hard if you're, you know, if you've decided, right, I want to complete this book, I want to do my best work. And I think it's worth remembering, I've gone over the liner, that when you complete a book, or when you complete a page even, or just an object, let's say this, just a small thing, whatever it is that you're completing. I am just colouring over everything I've done already, by the way. I'm sort of going backwards and forwards a bit. I don't know why. Whenever you complete something, if you keep practicing every day, and then you look at it in, say, a year or 2 years' time, having practiced every day, imagine how many hours practice you would have done in between. It's going to look a bit not as good as maybe you are capable of doing now. You know, for lots of reasons. You've learned new skills, techniques, you have sort of got built up your muscles more, so you can do a heavier layer of something. You've got a different set of pencils which seems to complement you better. There's so many things that may have changed in that time period. Now I'm trying to decide whether to use a terracotta or a natural orange. I don't think I'm daring enough to use natural orange. I'm going to use a terracotta. I think it'll work. I'm quite liking this colour. And again, I'm going over everything, but because this is quite burnished down here, it might not really show up very much until we start moving towards the middle. Now, I don't want to be putting down so much of a heavy layer towards the centre here where it's white. Although I want to put some of this down over that white, I want to sort of fade it as we come towards the middle. And that's being made easy for me because I've got this darker layer underneath, but still being a bit careful with how many layers I'm putting down near the centre. I'm just going to put a little bit down here and just see how it sits. I might put a bit more orange there. Don't know yet. So it's worth remembering that even if today it doesn't look how you'd wanted, and you're worried about making it look perfect, in 2 years' time, you might look back and think, why was I even critical of that? For considering how little practice I'd done, or whatever it might be, I think I did really well. Or just try pondering over my oranges. I'm going to use the cadmium orange and just do a little light coating in the central area. Or you might alternatively think, I've improved so much anyway. Why was I even worried about one tiny mistake going out the lines or something? Because, everything has changed since then. So the point I'm rambling about is just, go for it, have fun, enjoy it, see what happens. I'm just got to wipe my nose. Don't wipe your nose unless you need to. Now the little dots, I'm thinking maybe we did these dark, didn't we? I was thinking just do them dark, but we did those dark. What should we do? Ponder. I'm going to get a white pen. Here it is. I think this is the one we've been using, seeing as it's out. I'm going to white them all because at the moment they're cream and some of them I've gone over the lines. And then I'm going to have another look and see whether maybe I just want to put a little splash of colour in there. I'm leaving the black outline. I want that to be there. You can take it away if you want, but... Oh, excuse me, hiccups. So the gill part, we've been doing them in quite dark brown. Maybe we'll do it in grey, just so it's a bit different. I don't know if I'm going to like it in grey, warm grey 5, but I think I'm just going to try it, and then you can see and see if you like it as well. I'm going to use the same technique. It's quite hard. This is really small, so darker here and less towards the edge. Yeah, we just had a chappie here who was looking at our gas pipe. It's very exciting. So we have a natural gas supply into the house to feed our boiler, which controls our hot water and heating. And last time, it's a fairly new boiler, and we had it serviced, and the chappie said that he's not happy that the thickness of the gas pipe isn't quite thick enough for the boiler that we've got, and he feels like we should have a thicker one. but he doesn't do these sorts of installations, but he knew someone who did. So this chappie came round and had a look, and we were just trying to work out how on earth it could work. But he's got a little plan which is quite simple to sort of change something at the source of the gas pipe. So this is right near the outside, actually near the front door, and potentially into the garage. I'm not sure. It goes into the garage, the pipe. I'm not entirely sure exactly how much he's going to be doing. Now this stem, it'd be quite nice to have a different colour. We've done them grey and grey, but what can we do? Can't do it. Are they ever a different colour? I'm having a little look. We put a bit of cinnamon in that one, didn't we? I'm going to just use this grey to put a bit of colour on. Do you see how I'm using the side of my pencil? That gives a more even coating of colour, and you can get it lighter. I'm going to fade it down. So it's quite a useful technique sometimes, particularly for backgrounds. But but you have to turn it up more like that if you want to get a point, you know, into a small space. So I'm just going to do that. I'm just pondering really what to do. I think I'll put in the dark areas. So under here, I mean, Hannah's drawn some dots for us so we can know where to put the shadow. Goodness, I was watching the football last night. Well, I wasn't really. It's the ladies' Euros. So European countries tournament, ladies team. Our ladies do much better than our men. They've got to the semi-finals for the last 6 years. 6 tournaments, not years. They're not every year. I think every 4 years, like the World Cup. Anyway. So they've got to semi-final for the last 6 years in a row, and this was a quarter-final match, and oh, it was awful. I'm going to use a lighter grey. I'm going to sneeze actually, hold on. So yes, it was I'm going to switch to warm grey 3 and just carry on with this colour downwards. So we were playing Sweden. I don't know who's good in ladies football. I never really watch it until it comes to a big tournament. And we won it last year. So it's like, oh, we're going to do well with the defending champions, you know, all that. And we got to half time and we were 2-0 down. And the 2 goals that we allowed Sweden to score were our fault. Defensive errors. It was like, ugh. And I just gave up watching. I was like, this is awful. And then suddenly, and my husband did too. He's the big fan. He had it on. And he turned it over to watch a film. He suddenly had a look at the score. And we'd got 2 goals in like 3 minutes and evened it up. And I'm going to put some terracotta into the stem. See what you think. Just a light layer across all of it. So it went into extra time, which if you don't know about football means that if the score's even at the end of the match, because it's a knockout stage in a competition, somebody has to win. So they play an extra 30 minutes to see whether anyone else can get a goal. Nobody else got a goal. So we were then into a penalty shootout. So this is warm grey 5. No, I'm going to use a darker one. I'm going to use the warm grey 6. And do the really dark, shadowy bits again. So what they do is the goalie stands in the goal and one person is chosen to try and shoot a goal. And it's the most nerve-wracking thing ever to watch. It's horrific. And we got ahead right at the beginning. And it's like, oh. But you never know what's going to happen. And we got to the point, they do 5. Shots at goal, and whoever's got the most points and most goals by the end of that is the winner. We did 5 and I think it was 1-1. It's like, So I had to keep going, and they do a sort of sudden death then, as they call it delightfully, where each team just has one go, and then if the score at the end of those 2 goes isn't even, then whoever scored wins, basically. And there was another twice when they tried, and it's like, oh my goodness, and they both all missed, and it was it was saved. And it was it's like heart in the mouth time. It's, oh my goodness, so stressful. And I don't know why I didn't do this side. And then, I accidentally did a stripe there, and I like it. I'm going to do that. I'm going to put some stripes, take these right up. I like that. It gives a different look. And it's only a little tiny detail. And then Sweden put on this young teenager, and she put the ball over the bar, and that lost them the whole match. It was so sad. I mean, obviously England won, which was, good. But then I went to sleep. It got quite late. I want to do this little one in a completely different colour, but I think that's going to look odd. I think I'll do my different colour ones on the bottom. So I think I'm going to have to do it in a sort of orangey reddy type tone, because all these 3 are, or else I think it's just going to look so weird. I want to do it blue. It's just not going to work, is it? But let's go for a real bright red, shall we? Should we go for I think we might have done, what did we do for the first one? I just realised that I don't think I wrote down the colours I used for the second video. Nope. Oh, there it is. I wrote it in the wrong place. So for the first one, yeah, I did proper reds. Maybe not then. Caput mortuum. Let's go. Dropping the pencil. Let's go for a caput mortuum violet. See how that looks. Might look awful. It's faith. I'm thinking about these dots on here. I haven't forgotten. Well, I had. I've just remembered. I'm quite liking them in white. It gives a different look to the whole thing. I'm going to put a layer of this actually over the whole thing. Why not? So I think we're playing Italy next in the semi-final. And it's like we just got through. Yeah, so then, yes, I went to sleep, and then about midnight a car alarm started going off. We had all our doors open. It was quite warm. It was quite sticky last night. I'm just bringing those lines up, and I'm going to just darken around the edge here. I feel like it might be a bit dark on this side and at the bottom. And yes, the car alarm started going off, and now what? I want a lighter colour for the middle. I could go with the cinnamon. Sanguine. Sanguine. Let's try. It's quite a different colour, this sanguine. It's more of an orange, but I'm going to try it. Oh, I don't know why my nose is so runny this morning. Anyway. So yes, this car alarm went off, so I had to shut the door because it was just so loud. And husband got up and did it because I just stirred. And well, I did have a good sleep though. Interestingly, I woke up a bit late. So it's 6:40, which is late for me. Usually awake at 5:40. Anyway, and but I had a good sleep. And then I was just on my tablet looking at a few things, waiting for my son to wake up. And just as I was ready, I thought I'll just message him, see if he's awake, because I'm just ready to get up. And he messaged me and said I'm awake. I was like, hey, I quite like that. It's a nice little combo. And this bit, now the stem, I'm going to do something, like I put a bit of terracotta on here, I'm going to put a bit of sanguine on here. There we go. And then, should we use a cold grey? We've been using all warm greys. And I do think they're better, but I'm just going to play with the different colour. This is the cold grey 4. Definitely 4. Let's put quite a bit of colour in under here. How are we doing for time? Oh, it's only 10:30. My son's got a driving lesson. He's got to have an early lunch, but not that early. 12, maybe 10 to 12. So fine, nothing to... I just completely lost track of time. I'm normally really good at monitoring time. Oh, that's a bit thick and dark, isn't it? Why have I done that? Why have I plastered it on? I don't know. What was I thinking? Gonna grab some dark sepia, see if I can improve that, and if I can't, I shall rub it back a little bit. I think this might work. There we go. Sent my husband off this morning to do some meditation. I've told him I want him to do the mindfulness course that I'm doing, and he hasn't got very far through reading the book, and I said you can just start doing the meditations before you finish the book. So he's gone off to do a meditation. Now I'm not liking this very much. I'm going to erase it back. It'll be a good way to show you what to do. Oh, there's my eraser. I'm going to use this one. Use it really gently. I'm just going to take back so that this fades a bit better into the centre. I don't know if you can see that sort of fading outwards. Now, coloured pencil doesn't erase brilliantly, but it's taking a layer back, and it means that I will have the flexibility. Now, do be careful. There's a couple of tips when you're erasing back. Firstly, make sure your eraser is quite clean of other colours. I mean, this one, I'm taking back quite a dark colour, so it doesn't matter that much. But also try not to go too much out of the lines, because you might end up smudging the colour out, which I have done a tiny bit on that side there. I like that now. I'm going to leave that like that. But these dots I need to think about. I whited these. Those are fine. I haven't gone over the lines. Let's have a think. I think I'm going to go dark with these. I'm going to use the dark sepia actually and just do them really dark. Just really fill them in. Now you don't have to copy the way that I'm doing them. I'm trying different things because I want to give you different looks. There we go. I like this. It looks like this bit's just been slipped on top like it's a little hat. This one up here I'm going to do in a cream, the dots. So I've got to sharpen my pencil. Now cream isn't very vibrant, which probably makes a lot of sense. So you need to layer it up a bit, and it's easier to get colour out of a pencil if it's sharper, because it can push right down then into the tooth of the paper. Now obviously here we've got a bit of white gel pen on some of these, on all of them. So if I press too hard I might just chip the gel pen off, which I can see happening a bit on that one. So you need to be a little bit aware and careful, but it's not the end of the world if you chip off the gel pen, because you can just put it back. So yeah. I can't really see that very well. I'm going to go back over it. I can hear a lot of banging. Husband was doing took the kitchen apart earlier. But anyway, right. I'm just looking and checking. I think I'm happy with those. I'm going to leave those there. But for the other three, I'm going to use some much brighter blues and things. I think I might look up some mushrooms and pinch a few ideas. See whether the stems are all these grey or whether there's some other colours I can do and things like that. Get a few ideas, because I think these are all a bit same. Excuse me. Although I like them, particularly sort of bronzy look on there, I really like. I want something different, so I shall do a bit of looking, and I shall be back with another one soon, tomorrow probably. So thank you for watching. Have a super duper day and happy colouring.